Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to those returning. Today, we will be doing something slightly different and diving into the dark and haunting world of the Conjuring Universe, where we will be analyzing the terrifying creatures of the films, from major to minor appearances. However, I would like to note that I will not be covering the Curse of La Llorona, as I have already made a video regarding La Llorona and other Latin American creatures, so please feel free to watch it if you haven't already. Please be aware that some images may be scary. You can hide under the comments if you want, or minimize the tab if you can, or you can just close your eyes. So join me as we take a look into the Conjuring Universe in a new series called Unraveling the Film. Annabelle. I think the best character to start with is the most iconic entity of the Conjuring Universe, Annabelle. It's important to note that the demon behind the Annabelle doll is actually called Malthus, but for the remainder of this section, I will be calling it Annabelle, as it's the most well-known depiction of this demon. Annabelle is the main focus of the Annabelle trilogy films, starring in Annabelle, Annabelle Creation, and Annabelle Comes Home. It has also made cameos in other Conjuring films, while in its Annabelle doll form, and even came to popularity in its initial appearance in the original The Conjuring movie. Annabelle has two distinct forms, its doll form and its demonic form. In its doll form, Annabelle is seen not more than 1.5 feet tall. The doll itself is aged and worn down, having multiple scratches across its face. Its most distinct appearance is its deep blue eyes, having cracks that span its right eye. It has dirty blonde hair and wears a vintage white dress with red accents. The dress is held to the waist with a red waistband and a rose detail. In its true demonic form as Malthus, we see it sheds its creepy appearance to reveal its dark demonic form. Malthus bears goat-like horns with long elf-like ears. Its scowling face hides within the darkness, with its sharp teeth and bloodshot eyes piercing through light. Its gaunt and dark body is scarred with a satanic symbol carved on its chest. Malthus is a shapeshifter and can be seen with a massive black smoke covering its lower half. Its demonic form has changed throughout its appearance in the Annabelle movies, shifting from a goat-like humanoid form to a more spiked and monstrous form. Annabelle is notorious for its ability to perform demonic possessions. It is able to take advantage of those who possess or form an emotional connection with the physical doll. When possessed by Annabelle, it can control victims to commit murder or harm their loved ones. Annabelle is seen to possess a form of telekinesis. It's able to levitate objects and people around it. This ability is used to torment its victims and prevent them from performing exorcisms or other preventative methods. The real Annabelle doll is a Raggedy Ann doll, which is quite different in appearance from the porcelain doll depicted in the movies. Raggedy Ann is a popular character created by Johnny Gruelle in the early 20th century. The real Annabelle doll is characterized by its cloth body and red yarn hair, simple and cheery. The movie version is a large, eerie porcelain doll with a sinister appearance designed to amplify the horror element. The movie creates a more elaborate and dark origin story for the doll. In Annabelle Creation, the doll is tied to a tragic death of a young girl named Annabelle Mullins and later used in a demonic ritual. The real-life occurrences were more subtle, such as the doll moving on its own, leaving notes, and attacking Lou. The movies exaggerate the supernatural events for dramatic effect, including violent attacks, demonic appearances, and intense hauntings that go far beyond the documented experiences of Donna, Angie, and Lou. In the real case, the Warrens were contacted after a series of disturbing incidents had occurred, and they took the doll to their museum where it remains. In the movies, the Warrens' involvement are seen as more direct and action-packed, often featuring them in dramatic confrontations with the supernatural forces associated with the doll. While the real Annabelle doll has a chilling and mysterious history, the movies significantly amplify and dramatize the events to create a more terrifying and engaging narrative. I think that what really stood out for me with Annabelle or Malthus is the contrasting designs of the demon and the doll. I like the creepy doll look alongside its true hideous form. The contrasting bright colors of the Annabelle doll alongside the dark true form creates a very eerie visual. I also prefer the movie doll in comparison to the real Annabelle. The cracked porcelain doll really adds to the creepy and uncanny factor of Annabelle. I enjoyed the trickster nature of Malthus and his constant jumping around different forms. It adds to his character and also diversifies the film's jump scares. If I was to add or change something to improve the character, it would be his Malthus form. I find it scary, but slightly bland. It looks like the typical goat-like demon, and would have preferred if Malthus took a more unique visual approach, maybe complementing its trickster nature by implementing a sort of frailness or decrepit look to its demon form. Giving Malthus a weak body and yet powerful telekinetic abilities, we could see a reason as to why it favors to jump from host to host. In that way, we could see a visual answer as to why it's longing to transfer to a human body, ultimately playing into its motivations. Bathsheba. Bathsheba is an evil entity and the main antagonist for the first Conjuring film. What makes her terrifying is that she is the basis of both historical and supernatural lore. Bathsheba as an evil spirit is depicted horrifyingly. She has a corpse-like complexion with a very ghostly aura. She has piercing pale and bloodshot eyes. She can be seen with a twisted grin with a witch-like nose. Her wrinkled skin and raggedy hair adds to her crazed look while contrasting with her white dress. Unlike Annabelle, Bathsheba is not a demon. Bathsheba is not someone who's as powerful, but possesses similar and haunting abilities. She can possess individuals and has a tendency to possess mothers, driving them to commit harmful acts against their children. She can also manipulate objects and people, terrorizing her victims. Bathsheba Sherman was a real person who lived in the 19th century. According to local legends, she was accused of witchcraft after a series of mysterious infant deaths. Although acquitted due to a lack of evidence, she was ostracized by the community. It is believed she cursed the land before her death, vowing to torment anyone who lived there. In The Conjuring, Bathsheba haunts the Perron family after they moved into her old farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island. The entity specifically targets Carolyn Perron, attempting to possess her to sacrifice her children. Ed and Lorraine Warren, the renowned demonologists, are called to investigate the disturbances. Through their investigation, they discover Bathsheba's dark history and her intent to claim the souls of the Perron children. The film culminates in a dramatic exorcism where the Warrens manage to expel Bathsheba from Carolyn's body. Bathsheba Sherman was a real person who lived in 19th century Rhode Island. She was born Bathsheba Thayer in 1812 and married Judson Sherman in the mid-1800s. The couple lived in a farm in Harrisville, a small village in the town of Burrillville, Rhode Island. The legend of Bathsheba Sherman being a witch stems from local folklore, and historical records suggest that she was involved in suspicious activities. According to these legends, Bathsheba was accused of causing the death of an infant under her care. The baby reportedly died from a mysterious head wound, and when examined, it was discovered that a large sewing needle had been impaled at the base of the baby's skull. Although there were no concrete evidences to convict her, Bathsheba was suspected of witchcraft by her neighbors. It was rumored that she had sacrificed the infant to Satan in exchange for eternal youth and beauty. Due to these accusations, Bathsheba was ostracized by the community. She lived a relatively isolated life on her farm with her husband and son. Despite the local legends, there are no official records or court documents that prove Bathsheba Sherman was guilty of witchcraft or murder. She lived until May 25, 1885, and her cause of death was listed as a result of a stroke. Bathsheba was buried next to her husband in Harrisville Cemetery. The dark legend surrounding Bathsheba Sherman persisted long after her death, largely due to the nature of the accusations and the era's general superstition about witchcraft. These stories were passed down through generations, becoming a part of local folklore and contributing to the eerie reputation of the Sherman farmhouse. In The Conjuring, she is depicted as an evil spirit, and thus the disfigured appearance. The real Bathsheba Sherman is described to look like a regular woman, and even upon the witch accusations, she was not once described as sinister or supernatural looking. The film plays into the rumors and legends of Bathsheba, elaborating on her backstory and enhancing the legend of a curse on the land. The real Bathsheba, however, only really faced accusations of witchcraft. There was no real evidence of a child sacrifice or ritual performances. The Conjuring heavily dramatizes the supernatural events, writing and incorporating intense hauntings and the dramatic confrontations with Bathsheba in order to create more tension in the film. The actual evidence reported by the parent family was small, involving unexplained noises, movements, and apparitions. Another point of difference comes in the form of the Warrens' involvement in the parents' house incident. Ed and Lorraine Warren had less involvement in the real-life case. They did, however, investigate the home and concluded that there was a dark presence. I think Bathsheba is one of the most terrifying-looking entities in the Conjuring films. Just by pure appearance alone, I have to give it max scare score. Just by the fact that Bathsheba and her legend is based on real stories, it adds to how scary the spirit is portrayed. While the real Bathsheba Sherman was a woman who faced serious accusations in her lifetime, the character in The Conjuring is a fictionalized and dramatized version designed to create a more compelling and terrifying horror story. The real Bathsheba's legacy is rooted in local legends and provided a rich foundation for the filmmakers to build upon, resulting in one of the most memorable antagonists in modern horror cinema. Valak. Valak, also known as the Nun, is a powerful demonic entity and one of the most central antagonists in the Conjuring universe. Valak predominantly manifests as a demonic nun, a form it uses to mock the faith of its enemies and hide among the clergy. The choice of a nun's appearance is deeply unsettling, as it takes something traditionally seen as pure and good and perverts it into a symbol of evil and corruption. Valak is characterized as sadistic and ruthless. It takes pleasure in causing suffering and plays psychological games with its victims, often tormenting them before moving in for the kill. Despite its malevolent nature, Valak is also highly intelligent and strategic. It is adept at deceiving and manipulating its adversaries, using their weaknesses and fear against them to achieve its goal. Valak is a demon that is on par with Malthus, the demon who possesses Annabelle. Valak can possess individuals and use them as vessels to carry out its malevolent deeds. It can manipulate fire, use it as a tool for destruction and intimidation, as well as manipulate air currents, creating strong winds or atmospheric disturbances. The movie The Nun explores Valak's backstory further, revealing its release from imprisonment in a Romanian abbey during World War II. The abbey, built over a gateway to hell, becomes a focal point for Valak's activities, as it assumes the form of a nun to terrorize and kill the inhabitants. Valak's presence at the abbey is marked by its ability to manipulate and possess those in its vicinity, using bodies as vessels to further its agenda of death and destruction. Its ultimate defeat in The Nun comes from the form of using the blood of Christ, which banishes it temporarily back to hell. The Nun II continues Valak's narrative, exploring its return and quest for vengeance. The film follows Sister Irene and Frenchie as they investigate the murder of a priest, with signs pointing to Valak's return despite its previous banishment. Valak possesses Maurice to aid its search for the Eyes of St. Lucy, a powerful relic that it seeks to harness for its own dark purposes. The film culminates in a showdown where Sister Irene and Sister Deborah use a symbolic substitute for Christ's blood to burn Valak, defeating it once again and seemingly freeing Maurice from its possession. Valak has become one of the most iconic and recognizable characters in the Conjuring universe, standing out for its chilling appearance and formidable abilities. I think that anytime Valak makes an appearance, it always seems to bring out emotion in fans and watchers alike. Valak's manifestation as a demonic nun adds layers of horror and symbolism to his character. The Crooked Man. The Crooked Man's character was inspired by a classic nursery rhyme, and it goes like this. There was a crooked man, and he walked a crooked mile. He found a crooked sixpence against a crooked stile. He bought a crooked cat, which caught a crooked mouse, and they all lived together in a little crooked house. This nursery rhyme serves as the basis for the character's appearance and mannerisms. The rhyme itself contains dark undertones, which make it very suitable for a dark adaptation in the Conjuring universe. The Crooked Man is often seen lurking in the shadows. The ability of the Crooked Man to contort and twist its body echoes classic horror elements where entities take unnatural forms. The Crooked Man's design draws on gothic horror aesthetics, with a tall, slender frame, elongated limbs, and a face that is distorted and unsettling. The popularity of the Crooked Man has led to discussions of a spin-off film, highlighting its impact on horror cinema. The character's ability to evoke fear and unease in viewers has contributed to its reception as a memorable minor antagonist. Bill Wilkins. Bill Wilkins is a significant character in The Conjuring 2, where he is presented as a spirit haunting the Hodgson family in their home in Enfield, London. The character is based on the real-life claims of haunting experienced by the Hodgson family in the late 1970s, an event often referred to as the Enfield poltergeist. Bill Wilkins first appears as a ghostly figure that torments the Hodgson family, particularly focusing on Janet, the youngest daughter. He is initially perceived as the main antagonist due to his aggressive behavior and terrifying presence. Bill Wilkins was a previous resident of the house who died of a hemorrhage while sitting in his chair in the living room. His spirit is unable to move on, leading to his haunting of the Hodgson residence. His character serves as a red herring in The Conjuring 2. It's later revealed that Bill Wilkins is not the true antagonist. His spirit is being manipulated by Valak, the demon nun, who uses his ghost as a cover to mask its own malevolent activities. His presence provides the initial conflict and horror of the film, while the true antagonist Valak remains hidden in the shadows until later on in the story. Valak uses Bill's presence to create chaos and fear, diverting attention from its own dark influence. This misdirection helps to build suspense and mystery, keeping the audience engaged. I think Bill Wilkins served as a good red herring and was a great twist in the story. I think that the usage of audio of Bill breathing really built up tension in scenes, as well as the visual coldness of the rooms appearing very bluish. The Black Shuck. The Black Shuck is featured in The Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It and is inspired by a legendary creature from British folklore. This spectral hound has been a part of East Anglian mythology for centuries, often described as an omen of death. According to legend, sightings of the Black Shuck foretell the death of those who encounter it, adding a layer of psychological terror to its appearance. The Black Shuck plays only a minor role in the narrative of The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. It doesn't really do much apart from making a short appearance and a small jump scare, so I hope they would delve deeper into this character in the future. The Ferryman. The Ferryman appears in Annabelle Comes Home and draws inspiration from ancient mythology and folklore. It's based off the Greek myth of Charon, ferryman of Hades. In Greek mythology, Charon is responsible for transporting the souls of the deceased across the river Styx, which separate the world of the living from the underworld. In Annabelle Comes Home, the ferryman is depicted as a dark, sinister figure shrouded in a long, hooded cloak. When visible, his face is skeletal, with hollow eye sockets and a grim, haunting expression. Ferryman carries coins traditionally used as payment for passage to the afterlife, which he places over the eyes of the dead. This imagery is directly linked to the ancient custom of placing coins in the eyes of the deceased to ensure their safe passage to the afterlife. Coins are a crucial part of the ferryman's character. They don't only represent payment for the passage to the afterlife, but also serve as a haunting symbol of death. The ferryman plays a more major role in Annabelle Comes Home, acting as one of the malevolent entities unleashed when the Warren's artifact room is inadvertently opened. He targets Judy and her friends, leading them through terrifying encounters that emphasize his connection to death and the supernatural. The ferryman's presence in the film serves to heighten the sense of dread, as he embodies the idea of an inescapable journey to the afterlife. The ferryman is a great character, and I was definitely intrigued by it. I do wish they went more into the character, and honestly, I find it more scary and interesting than the Crooked Man himself. These are the evils of the Conjuring Universe. Please, let me know if there are any other video characters that I may have missed out. I wanted to try something different for this video, and would like to know what you guys think. What should be the next movie lore that you guys want for me to talk about? I'd love to hear your thoughts. But for now, thank you for watching, and see you guys in the following videos.